From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Friday morning. It's 5 o'clock. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. This morning, the boundaries for Montana's new congressional districts are set. MTN's Mike Dennison shows us the map and which political party got their way.
In a dramatic split vote Thursday evening, after hours of testimony and debate, the 5-member panel charged with drawing the boundaries for Montana's 2 new congressional districts finally chose the proposal advanced last week by its Republican members. Known as Map 12, the proposal creates a new western district that includes the cities of Missoula, Butte, Kalispell, and Bozeman, and the Blackfeet Indian Reservation. But the western district will not include Helena or Lewis and Clark County, which will be in the newly formed eastern district, along with the cities of Great Falls, Billings, and the rest of eastern and south central Montana. The proposal passed on a 3-2 vote, with Maylin Smith, the chair of the Districting and Apportionment Commission, breaking a tie in its favor. She said she felt it was the fairest proposal and that the Western District could be competitive between Democratic and Republican candidates.
I think this is a competitive district in the sense that we've shown that the right person can win this district, and it is the district that I find is the fairest for Montana based on the volumes of comments we've gotten.
The 2 Democratic commissioners voted no, saying the map created 2 Republican-leaning districts. Democratic Commissioner Joe Lamson of Helena said in both districts in Map 12, Democrats start out behind the 8 ball, or as he put it, underwater.
If you were in a boat, or a boat, and you had the candidates in a boat, and the surface of the water is 50% plus 1 person, the victory. All the Republican candidates start out with a boat, and all the Democratic candidates start with a rock around their ankle, and they're trying to even get near the surface.
Republican commissioners, however, disagree that GOP candidates would have a clear advantage in the new Western District. Commissioner Jeff Essman of Billings said votes in recent congressional elections in Montana showed that neither party would have had a definitive advantage in that district.
Then you look at the 4 House races from the 4 most recent from 16, 17, 18, and 20, when 2 are won by each party, and the average margin there is 1.3%. I don't see how that can be in any way termed non-competitive.
Thursday's decision came after months of testimony and debate before the commission, including several hours on this day. Speakers Thursday included former Governor Mark Roscoe, a Republican who said he felt Map 12 was a fair proposal. A final hearing will be held next week before the map is formally submitted, but any further changes will be only technical in nature. The maps approved here in this room Thursday are the maps where candidates will be running next year. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Mike. Miller joins us here on the set now with a look at today's weather. Good morning. Now, I walked outside this morning. It was in the 50s. That's really nice to start the day this way.
It feels good out there this morning, and those temperatures are coming down just a bit. We hit 70 yesterday here in Billings briefly, but won't be the case moving forward, as we do have some cooler air. We have a couple of fronts that we're going to be talking about, bringing more cool air in, and the chance for moisture. We had a little bit of rain earlier this morning. That is pushed off to the east. Sitting at 49 right now at the airport. Still have the clouds out there, but a sunny day on the way. Winds out of the west at about 14 miles an hour. Going to be breezy today here at Billings along the foothills, Livingston to Big Timber. It's going to be quite windy though. There's that high yesterday of 70, a good 20 degrees above average. Our overnight low got down to 45, so above average there as well. So we've had some rain, not a whole lot of rain. But we could use any type of moisture we can get. Still well over 4 inches in the hole for the year, and we've got more moisture heading our way, but not today. It's pushing off to the east. You see Miles City, Glendive still getting some of that rainfall. Temperatures this morning in the 40s and 50s. You'll see we're cooler today behind that front as the sunshine comes out. Even cooler next week, and I mentioned we have more shots at rain coming at us. Will it make it to the area? That's the question. We'll let you know with that main forecast coming up here in just a bit.
You know, when I got in my car, I put my foot on the pedal and it slipped off, and I was like, oh, it rained. And then I was like, well, of course, because Miller said it was going to rain. And so
did I get it right?
You got it right.
Oh,
and then I looked
I'm going
at the
to stop
ground.
right now. I'm done. I'm not doing anything. I want to quit while I'm ahead. So.
I looked at the ground and I'm like, oh yeah, there's some rain on the ground.
Yeah,
Miller said.
I'm done. I'm taking my sign and going home.
Before you walk away, Miller, I want to let you know that Great Falls is joining us. The viewers in Great Falls.
Okay.
So welcome, Great Falls. I'm Victoria.
Great Falls.
You know Miller from the noon newscast, and we're going to carry on on with our news now.
Friday.
Thank you so much, Miller. Well, continuing our coverage, the man accused of going on a stabbing spree at Jake's in downtown Billings Wednesday night will appear in court at 9 o'clock this morning. Q2's Casey Conlon has more on the dangerous situation, including how the restaurant plans to move forward.
Normally, this giant metal gate behind me wouldn't be down on a busy Thursday. Jake's Downtown instead would be welcoming a lunch and dinner rush. The restaurant closed after last night's incident sent 3 to the hospital and left dozens more with emotional scars over an event no one ever is prepared for.
How do you know what to do in a situation like that?
Whitney Hovey was in the bar area with a friend Wednesday night when first responders swarmed the south entrance of the building. Moments later, she saw why, as injured employees were being tended to on the sidewalk right outside the windows.
They just had kitchen towels wrapped around everything and people were bleeding, and we're like, what's going on?
It wasn't until Hovey noticed distraught employees back inside the restaurant that she started to put things together.
I saw 2 of the staff members. I don't know if they were hostesses or waitress, but they're kind of just holding each other and clearly upset.
But even after learning of former employee Brandon Bird's alleged actions, Hovey says employees made sure guests felt as safe as possible.
We never were in fear of our own safety because we didn't really even know what was happening. Sure. And I don't think anyone really knew, because it's not like anyone was running out of there screaming or anything. They kept it very calm and everyone just kind of exited.
That's what Hovey says she'll never forget, the staff's reaction to a bad situation that could have been much worse.
Getting home last night, I got to thinking about it and I text my friend, I'm like, if it would have been a gun, nobody could have stopped him. And then he could have went in and hurt a bunch of people. And thank God, I mean, I cannot say enough about the staff at Jake's. I don't know how they could have done a better job.
Jake's management has called a meeting for Thursday morning to decide when the restaurant will reopen. For now, they say they're just thankful that all 3 victims that were taken to the hospital are okay. Casey Conlon, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Casey. A new rule from the Labor Department will require Americans who work at medium and large businesses to be vaccinated or face weekly testing for COVID-19. The Biden administration hopes to increase the vaccination rate and cut down on the number of deaths and hospitalizations attributed to the virus. CBS's Laura Podesta has more.
Millions of unvaccinated Americans will soon have to make a choice. Beginning January 4th, employees at companies with at least 100 workers will need to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 or be tested weekly.
Actions announced by the president are designed to save lives.
The new rule from the Biden administration also requires unvaccinated workers to wear a face mask. Employers who fail to comply could be fined nearly $14,000 per violation.
The worst disruption businesses have faced for nearly 2 years is their employees getting sick with COVID.
I'm really concerned.
Stephanie Martz of the National Retail Federation says the rule may add to the country's work shortage if even just a small number of employees leave their jobs.
It's just reflecting the reality of where we are right now in terms of trying to get employees to come to work every day.
Several Republican governors have threatened legal challenges to overturn the rule. Indiana Congressman Trey Hollingsworth says individual businesses should be able to decide whether to require COVID vaccines.
I want to make sure that Americans feel as though their healthcare choices are their own.
In a separate measure affecting 17 million workers, employees at nursing homes and healthcare facilities that receive Medicare and Medicaid funds must be vaccinated by the January 4th deadline with no option for testing. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
A recent poll found roughly 6 in 10 adults are in favor of these vaccine mandates. One of them who is not, Montana's Attorney General Austin Knudsen. He's filed suit against the Biden administration over the mandates and has the backing of Governor Gianforte, who called the rules unlawful. Montana has its own laws which ban vaccine mandates entirely, but in the meantime, our local medical facilities that rely on federal funding aren't sure if they should follow state laws or the new rules from the president.
The choice that's being put in front of organizations today as these rules roll out is, do we choose to violate the state law and actively discriminate? And that's a hard thing to say, like, that we will choose to violate state law. Or do we choose to violate the federal rules, which in the case of Riverstone Health, as an example, would be about close to half of our annual revenue if we lose federal funding through this. So which of those choices do you take?
Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon also plans to file a lawsuit against the Biden administration today. In business news, Billings may soon get a new Albertsons way out on the West End. The grocery store company has submitted plans for a store at 5317 Grand Avenue, just east of the Den. It will be the first grocery store west of Shiloh Road and is the company's 7th store in the Billings area. Medical marijuana businesses in Billings are preparing to sell recreational marijuana. Even though voters blocked recreational dispensaries from setting up shop in city limits, medical shops will be allowed to sell recreational marijuana under state law. Sales are officially allowed on January 1st. Owners of these dispensaries are looking forward to a new revenue stream and are expecting to need to grow a lot more of their product.
It's going to be more challenges for us, most definitely, but in a growth sense, it'll be really good for us.
We've been getting as prepared as we can. We're working with the state to ramp up our production.
Recreational marijuana dispensaries can be built in Yellowstone County outside Billings city limits. 26 Montana counties do not allow them. Also making headlines this morning, opening statements are set to start today in the murder trial of Ahmaud Arbery. The 25-year-old was shot and killed in February of 2020. 3 men face murder and other charges for Arbery's death. Jury selection took more than 2 weeks and included accusations by prosecutors that defense attorneys disqualified some jurors based on race. The judge ruled the trial will proceed with 1 black juror and 11 white jurors, but added there appears to be intentional discrimination in the jury selection. Record numbers of U.S. workers have been quitting their jobs for better opportunities. Reporter Alexa Liaco spoke with one woman about why she left her job as a frontline worker and the success she has found on the other side.
When the world shut down, frontline worker Roxanne Pagipagan couldn't stay home.
We're basically making the ready-to-eat food, like the mac and cheese, the salads.
She worked in a superstore interacting with the public every day.
When pandemic hit, I got scared, so I resigned.
She then took a job packing boxes in a warehouse, hoping to be safer. But there, she found a different challenge.
Every day, it's very tiring working at a warehouse. Because of that, I felt like I want something more fulfilling. Especially that my kid is growing up. I want to be able to provide more for him.
She knew a better paying job meant going back to school. So she saved up and started taking coding classes after work.
I was immediately interested with what they're offering. I'll get more money and I won't be working at a warehouse.
Once she finished the coding boot camp, she did what millions of Americans have done this year. She quit.
I had so many doubts in myself, but when a recruiter reached out to me, I was like, wow.
She quickly got a job as a software engineer. Now she is challenging her brain, not her body.
I'm kind of scared of what the future holds for me, but I'm hopeful and I know that I can do it.
Roxanne quit for personal safety and better job security, and she isn't alone. 4.3 million Americans, nearly 3% of the entire workforce, quit their jobs in August. That's the highest number ever recorded by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Job coach Melanie Feldman says the pandemic created a list of reasons for this wave of resignations.
So we saw a lot of people moving out of, the location that they were previously in. And then, a lot of companies now have mandated coming back. And so I've seen a lot of people quit from that because people just don't want to come back to the cities.
She's also noticed mental health is playing a bigger part in choosing a job than ever before.
A lot of people that I've worked with just prioritize themselves and said, I need to quit and I need to find something that's right for me.
For Roxanne, this time of uncertainty brought her the courage to change not only her life, but her family's.
It's the American dream. My mom is really old and my brother is blind. So this is, dream come true for me because it enables me to earn more so that I could help my family.
She's hoping her son sees the lessons she's just learned and is never afraid to start a new chapter.
I'm striving hard. I'm working hard for him. I feel thankful that I have this job right now.
I'm Alexa Liaco reporting.
Thank you, Alexa, and thank you for starting your Friday with us here on Montana This Morning.